This couple couldn't have kids and struggled to adopt, but suddenly their clan tripled overnight. For many couples across the world, there may come a time when they have to make a big decision and discuss the idea of starting a family together. Jeremy and Kaylee Carling from Farmington, Utah can certainly relate to that, as they toyed with that notion a few years ago. Jeremy and Kaylee first met back in elementary school, before attending the same middle school and high school. During their time together at the latter, the pair then formed a romantic relationship, which eventually led to their marriage. Indeed, the couple told the Rachel Ray Show in February 2017 they were pretty much soulmates. With that in mind, Kaylee and Jeremy wanted to add a new face to their growing family following their wedding. As youngsters, the couple both harbored a real ambition of becoming parents. However, they'd have to overcome a number of difficult obstacles to realize that particular dream. Sadly, Kaylee discovered that she couldn't have children as a result of some health issues. So Jeremy and his wife looked to adopt a child instead. But two potential opportunities fell through. Despite that disappointment, though, their lives changed forever over the course of one day in October 2016. During various stages of a person's life, they might engage in a number of romantic relationships. However, there are other people who find love at an early age and stay with that same individual for the foreseeable future. On that note, two lovebirds from Utah could certainly place themselves in the latter category. Jeremy and Kaylee Carling have known each other since they were young kids, progressing through the same schools together. As teenagers, the pair then took their relationship to the next level, with things turning romantic. And looking back at that time, Jeremy believed that their bond was going to last. Kaylee and I went to grade school, junior high, and high school together, Jeremy told the Rachel Ray Show. We started dating in our junior year of high school and knew from a young age that we would just be together. We're soulmates. From there, they finally tied the knot. After celebrating the wedding, Kaylee and Jeremy looked to realize an ambition that they'd held for several years. The former said, "We'd always wanted a family. It's something we'd always looked forward to since we were young." Despite their enthusiasm, though, the Utah couple suffered a major blow at that point. During Kaylee's youth, her doctor gave her some life-changing news. Following a visit to the physician, the Farmington resident discovered that she had both lupus and rheumatoid arthritis. The medical ailments bear some similarities to each other, but the former is the more serious of the two. Rheumatoid arthritis and lupus are two types of autoimmune disease, which can cause a number of different problems in a person's body. The website diabetes.co.uk explains, autoimmune disease refers to an illness or disorder that occurs when healthy tissue, cells, gets destroyed by the body's own immune system. At that point, the webpage then offered some more in-depth insight into the condition. It continues, the immune system is the body's protection against harmful substances such as bacteria, viruses, and toxins, all of which contain harmful antigens. To counter this, the immune system produces and sends antibodies, special proteins, to destroy these antigens. The post adds, however, in some cases, the immune system cannot distinguish between healthy, harmless tissue and antigens, and as a result, it attacks and destroys normal tissue. This autoimmune reaction, or attack, is what triggers the development of an autoimmune disease. With that in mind, Kaylee had to deal with her two conditions. Rheumatoid arthritis affects the joints of certain appendages, ranging from a person's feet to their hands. In turn, the condition can permanently damage those areas if it's left untreated for too long. Furthermore, this form of arthritis can also lead to issues like a reduction in weight and fatigue. Unfortunately for Kaylee, this ailment can't be cured, but there are ways it can be managed throughout a person's life. A post on the NHS website reads, early diagnosis and appropriate treatment enables many people with rheumatoid arthritis to have periods of months or even years between flares. This can help them to lead full lives and continue regular employment. As for the treatment, sufferers are usually prescribed medicine to help ease the painful symptoms, while some take part in activities such as physiotherapy. For many people, dealing with a condition like rheumatoid arthritis would be stressful enough. However, Kaylee had to contend with an additionally serious problem alongside it. Much like rheumatoid arthritis, lupus can affect the joints of an afflicted individual. But its symptoms don't end there. The disease may lead to the inflammation of several vital organs as well, like your heart, lungs, brain, and kidneys. But despite its severity, lupus isn't an easy condition to identify. Lupus can be difficult to diagnose because its signs and symptoms often mimic those of other ailments, reads a description on the Mayo Clinic website. The most distinctive signs of lupus, a facial rash that resembles the wings of a butterfly unfolding across the cheeks, occurs in many but not all cases of lupus. From there, the Mayo Clinic then offered a bit more information about how lupus can emerge in a person. It continued, some people are born with a tendency towards developing lupus, which may be triggered by infections, certain drugs, or even sunlight. While there's no cure for lupus, treatments can help control symptoms. Alongside the risk of organ inflammation, lupus can lead to another worrying complication, especially for individuals like Kaylee, who wanted to start a family. The Mayo Clinic post added, women with lupus have an increased risk of miscarriage. Lupus increases the risk of high blood pressure during pregnancy, preeclampsia, and preterm birth. Despite the risks, Kaylee and Jeremy still pressed ahead with their plans. But over a 2-year period, they struggled to get pregnant. Consequently, the couple looked to solve their fertility issues with some treatment. Sadly, though, that didn't work either, with the lupus and rheumatoid arthritis playing a role. At that point, Jeremy and Kaylee had a contingency plan. The latter recalled to Parents.com in 2016, we had tried to conceive for a couple of years. However, due to my lupus and RA, that road was proving to be extremely hard on my body. My husband and I decided to take a break from trying and to focus more on fostering and/or adoption. As it turned out, Kaylee had harbored an ambition to adopt a kid prior to the trouble she experienced with Jeremy. The Farmington resident told ABC News in 2016, ever since I was a teenager and I knew what fostering and adoption was, I wanted that to be part of my life, whether I was able to have children biologically or not. With that in mind, Jeremy and Kaylee took in a number of foster kids over the following period, trying their hand as parents. In addition to that, the pair also tried to adopt, but the process proved somewhat frustrating. Indeed, they missed out on 2 potential opportunities, with the second occurring in June of 2015. We were determined to have a family of our own, Jeremy told the Rachel Ray Show. We went through 2 failed adoptions and it was heartbreaking. Touching upon the second opportunity, Kaylee said, we had a birth mom who we got really involved with. We took care of her for 4 or 5 months leading up to the birth. Kaylee added, the mom changed her mind a week or so before the birth. We had a nursery that was all set up and ready to go, and just having that constant reminder of the loss was a really difficult thing. However, no one could have predicted what happened next, as there was a shocking twist. In August 2015, Kaylee said that the mother in question was imprisoned due to her involvement with child sex trafficking. As a result of that, she and Jeremy looked to become the permanent guardians of the baby and her sibling. Ultimately, their plan didn't work as the little girl stayed with her family. But the story then took a tragic turn, as Kaylee revealed that the youngster and her relative died not long after the ruling. Unsurprisingly, the news left her and Jeremy absolutely heartbroken. She told ABC News, it was a roller coaster ride that wouldn't end. Meanwhile, Kaylee and Jeremy finally received some good news on the same day that they heard of the mom's apparent crime. The couple discovered that 2 young foster children named Indy and Haven required a home at that point. But the big surprises didn't end there. Later that day, an expectant mother contacted Jeremy and Kaylee. The woman, expecting twins at the time, wanted the prospective parents to adopt her babies. Incredibly, within a matter of hours, the Farmington residents looked set to add 4 new faces to their family. After the twins' birth, one of them needed to stay in a neonatal intensive care unit for a significant period. A few months on from that, the babies, Wellesley and Summer, arrived in Utah in June 2016. Not long after that big moment, Jeremy and Kaylee then received some more positive news. The budding mom told the Rachel Ray Show, over the following year, everything proceeded with the twins. And then in September, that's when we learned that the foster sisters were able to be adopted as well. Following an incredibly difficult journey, Kaylee and Jeremy finally realized their dream over the course of a very busy day. She added, both of the adoptions for the foster girls and the twins were finalized within 24 hours in October last year. Off the back of that, the new mother quickly shared the news on social media. Kaylee posted a photograph of herself, Jeremy, and their 4 adopted children stood alongside a judge in a courtroom on Reddit. Writing under the username 0 to 4 in 5, she titled the post, 4 kids in less than 24 hours. From there, the picture went on to generate just under 10,000 upvotes and over 700 comments. Among all those comments, Kaylee posted a message herself, summing everything up. She wrote, "Last week, my husband and I were finally able to make our family official. On Wednesday, we finalized the adoption of our twins, private adoption. Thursday, we adopted our foster children that we've had for 14 plus months." 4 kids 2 and under is no joke, but our dreams were realized times 4, and we're so grateful and happy, Kaylee continued. After that, Jeremy's wife then reflected on the hardships they'd faced leading up to the big day. In her mind, the outcome made it all worthwhile. Kaylee added, "Our journey to get to this point has been anything but easy. Health issues, infertility, failed adoptions, death, heartbreak, and more heartbreak. It seemed like it would never end. We're here to give hope to those in a similar situation to persevere, to push through, and it will all be worth it in the end." However, there was one more twist to this particular story. Following the arrival of the 4 girls back in the fall of 2016, Kaylee quit her job to look after them. As a result of that, the family were now relying on Jeremy for their income, but the money just wasn't covering the daily expenses. Indeed, there was a lot more. Between the immediate expenses and our adoption expenses, unfortunately, we racked up over $20,000 worth of debt, Jeremy explained to the Rachel Ray Show. So to help combat the financial issue, one of Kaylee's relatives came up with an interesting idea. Kaylee's aunt Jennifer Dayton set up a GoFundMe page for the pair with a target of $20,000. The mom said, "The response has been inspiring and amazing, and the ones that made me the most emotional are the $5 and $10 donations from people who just want to help." Meanwhile, Kaylee and Jeremy then received some significant help from an unexpected source. During their appearance on the Rachel Ray Show in February 2017, the family were given $15,000 by U.S. Bank. And as for the GoFundMe page, that's since raised over $9,000 in donations from the public.